Okay, good morning, everyone. Hope everyone had a good weekend, a New Year's Eve night. Going to call the meeting to order, so everyone please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So, roll call, please.
Mayor Plummer.
Here.
Commissioner Brooks.
Here.
Commissioner Roberts.
Here.
Commissioner Galbraith.
Here.
Commissioner Gibson.
Here.
We have a quorum and ready for the transaction of business.
Thank you. Moving on to number 4, business.
So before we get started, can I just will you let the minutes reflect that not all of us were privy to Mr. Withrow's letter of resignation? I did have to ask for it, and the HR director did send it to me last week.
Well, I was talking to them about that. He did give me one, and I didn't realize that I needed to correct it with this board, so basically it's my fault.
That's all I have.
Okay.
Thanks.
4A, the municipal order assigning responsibilities in the actions of the city manager. Mr. Bowman.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I had to pass this around kind of as just a draft for points that you all to talk through and to consider. And there certainly may be other things that you all are thinking about adding. I guess the 3 things that were kind of most pressing on my mind were the small purchase authority that the city manager had, which would rise to the level of coming to you all and really gets into more kind of the day-to-day nuts and bolts operation of the city. Second, any ABC duties, and of course we have deputies. Chief Thomas provided you all those names, and you did that order back in the summer. And then thinking of the blip that happened with payroll when the city manager's out of town, that could happen at any point in time, not just in this season that you find yourself. So those are the 3 things I laid out. So you all can kind of assign those tasks to anybody you want to in the absence of the city manager. But I just kind of laid those 3 points out there for discussion. And obviously anything you all have, I've got this up here in draft so I can type as you all work out these. We'll start with the payroll. There was no reason I put that number 1. It was just kind of the first thing that was in my head.
It's important because
Yeah, I was
Well,
Friday's it. I mean, we got.
Let me correct that. It is the most important for a 100+ employee. I'm sorry. No one knew that I didn't mean that.
Well, since Brad is working now with Aaron on that, should he not be the one that approves that?
Whatever you all think. As I understand the process, there's an extra login that occurs with the bank.
Has the bank been notified?
So the bank was called, they have a form that they've sent over, so the account Mr. Withrow had is the main administrator account. So instead of reinventing the wheel, they said they can do a password reset, but they need to know whose email to send that password to. That way we know that person has all of the access that they need. So there's a form here that they required us to fill out designating the administrator that will have access to transfer payroll and money for payables and things like that. So it's essentially his account, but it will be done with a password. So we just need the minutes from today and then this form.
You're not involved right now in any transfers whatsoever, right? I mean, you're not already involved in the process in any way.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I
Are you approving?
No, I'm not approving.
Oh, okay,
anything,
that's
but as far
no,
as,
just the approval process.
on payrolls, Aaron will send out an email saying, hey, we need this much transferred from this to there, and yeah, I do partake in that as well, so.
He has the internal transfer.
Yeah,
Internal.
transfer.
Okay, not
Yeah,
extra.
with
Okay.
utility fund payroll.
Okay, all right, that's right. Yeah, on our books. You're just doing it on our books. Let's say from account 2, 3, or whatever the deal is. Yeah, okay, that's right.
I would say though, since you 2 are working together, that
Yeah.
it just flows that way. I mean,
Yeah,
you're
I've got
able
no-
to approve the payroll and work with Aaron and things like that.
What about audit? Audit, are we okay on it? I mean,
I mean, I think,
Yeah, because we've got checks and balances, and I guess if I have any questions, I can talk with Wallace or Stan, or even you as well too, as far as on the audit committee goes. So I mean, I guess technically I would feel like I'm reporting to the three of you from an audit committee standpoint. So,
Okay.
No, that's fine.
any further questions?
so if we put you in my name, you're not really the finance director, because that's it.
Financial contractor.
consult.
Consult,
Yeah.
yeah, financial consult.
Okay, so here's how I'm gonna word this. As required by any banking or financial institution, payroll deposits and transfers may be approved by the city's financial consultant to ensure timely processing of compensation to city employees. And obviously, if we give it to Rick Kelly Hensley, and they think it needs to be different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just want to make sure everybody gets paid. That's payroll. Okay, so the ABC administrator may be completed by any deputy ABC. I think that's fine.
Self-explanatory.
So on the small purchase, remember there's the tiers. So under 5,000 is within the discretion of the city manager. Between 5 and 15 goes to the audit committee. So I don't know, I just kind of threw this down there, just kind of in this temporary interim. If there's a small purchase that Chief Thomas needs or Pat Hardy needs, he just goes to Wallace Stan as the audit committee. Is that right? Everybody? We just kind
I mean, I
of.
can throw my name in there too, as far as the three of us.
Yeah, because you're usually involved in discussions, but.
Let me just ask a crazy question. Do you need all three signatures? Let's just say a couple of them went around, and if I sign it, does it take care of it, or do you need to get all three?
Well, so how it would have worked between 5 and 15 was you had to have both Wallace and Stan's permission, and if one of them disagreed, then it would have just come to a whole lot. So I think keeping that same in place is probably good. So I know there was some discussion about what to do about email for Mike. I don't know that needs to be in the order. I think obviously somebody needs to, maybe, I know you talked to him a lot, I don't know, but somebody needs to reach out to Sophisticity just to make sure they preserve his emails. But they may recommend, what I've seen a lot lately in the cyber security world we deal with is, it's not a good idea to leave old emails on forever. You certainly want to leave them on for a while, but there needs to be.
There is a record retention guideline for emails.
And that too.
We can follow that guideline.
Right.
Unless we do something like grants and things like that.
Right,
which is
well,
longer.
that too, so we need to keep the old email, but what I'm saying is the new email account, because after a period of time, no one's going to be checking it. And that's a great way for somebody to do some no good by coming in with an open email, open city, whatever it's called, account. But I think maybe a call to Sophisticity to see what they recommend. I'm sure it's like 6 months or something down the road, but with Darren's email, we're probably getting close and the monitoring stop. So I think if somebody can call Sophisticity, but then do you forward Mike's emails to you? I mean,
Right.
what do you all want to do?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's what I
to
want
the
to do.
mayor.
Why not?
I don't know, we need to send that order.
I'm here most of the day every day, so.
Yeah, you know, so, but, so is there anything else to add? So it's on that your people obviously smells the good there.
One thing I thought about over the weekend was that at some point, Mike has been on the KYMEA. He's been on the KYMEA board. It's not necessarily mean that we have to have a board member, but we do have to have an appointee because we're one of 9 or 10 cities that make up KYMEA. So we gotta be thinking about that also. And I think the backup right now is, I think he's been attending meetings, is Kevin Crump, because of his association with the city in years past, and I think he's accompanied Mike on some occasions before COVID set in, and they were doing all doing it all by Zoom and things of that nature. So,
Mr. Crump went to Washington to testify in front of FERC. He handled it.
yeah.
He still likes to remember that.
But the outcome was not what we wanted, though.
It was not, it was not.
Biggest question I've received is, as far as department heads, who do they direct report to? Are they gonna be signed, everyone direct report to the mayor?
That's what I would want, yes. And the city manager, of course, is not.
We need to reach out to Kevin. Yeah, probably.
Kevin is still a part-time employee as well, so.
So to that point, Stephanie, I just threw in number 4, any city department head shall consult with the mayor as a point of contact with any questions or inquiries.
There you go.
It seems minor, but leave,
Who-
department heads
Okay.
leave
Wait a minute, hold on.
requests. Department head leave requests, do you want me to just approve those and then make sure everybody's communicated when they're off? Mike did that as well. I'm already
Why not?
copied on
Vacation
it.
request,
Vacation requests for department heads.
Yeah,
Yeah, just like, yeah.
that would probably be covered by this.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because it's got to be set up. The mayor doesn't have Kronos. He doesn't have an account in Kronos. That's the problem. All that runs through.
Do you have an account?
Yeah, why don't we get mine, an account set up for me on Kronos?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
And then that way I can kind of maybe be the mayor's.
Yes.
Back on it.
Back up.
Yeah.
Just so, I mean, like you two, I don't know if you're technically considered department heads or not, but you're certainly viewed as that level of status. So just to be clear, shall list any department head, city clerk, or the HR manager, shall report to the mayor with any questions. Nothing else, I'll read this one more time. Okay, municipal order relating to the assignment of responsibilities in the absence of the city manager. And again, the point of this was not just in this, however long this period will be, but, you know, if the city manager in the future takes a vacation, and this can kind of stand in for that too. Whereas on occasion, the city manager may be unavailable to carry out certain duties and responsibilities. Or the city manager position may be temporarily vacant. And whereas to ensure the effective operation of the city of Paris, certain city officials shall be authorized to complete such tasks as may be necessary. Now therefore is ordered by the Board of Commissioners of the city of Paris that when the city manager is unable to attend to the duties of the office, by the way, that language comes from the statute dealing with you all, like the commissioners or mayors. The following administrative tasks may be completed by other city officials. 1, is required by any banking or financial institution, payroll deposits and transfers may be approved by the city's financial consultant. 2, duties relating to the ABC administrator may be completed by any deputy. 3 is the small purchase may be authorized, 5,000 or less may be authorized by the city's financial consultant, and 2 members of this board who comprise the audit committee. 4, any city department head, the city clerk, or the city's human resources director, shall consult with the mayor as a point of contact with any questions or inquiries. Then, the 4th paragraph, nothing in this order is meant to contradict the statutes which lay out the rules. That's it.
Any other questions? Any motion to approve the municipal order assigning responsibilities in the absence of the city manager?
I'll make a motion.
Commissioner Gibson makes the motion, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Roberts, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mayor Plummer,
Yes.
Commissioner Brooks,
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts, Commissioner Galbraith,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Gibson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Move on to 4B, approval to adopt OSHA emergency temporary standards. Grant, Mr. Bowman.
Mr. Mayor, so this is the policy or the requirement by OSHA, somewhat of a model policy that was put up by some entities, revised by KLC, and revised again by Aaron and myself. So this is the municipal order adopting the required emergency temporary standard concerning COVID-19. So we have the attached and somewhat lengthy vaccination testing and face covering policy, which to be adopted, and I put in here in the order that the policy is in effect for the period of time required by OSHA. OSHA has been delaying the start date for this based on the litigation. So in the event that they delay it again, our policy would be delayed. We're just trying to make this policy compliant with whatever the court rulings are going to be as they come out. So are there any questions about the policy and how it's kind of implemented? Just need a motion.
Motion to approve municipal order adopting the required OSHA emergency temporary standard concerning COVID-19.
We have a motion, and a second. Mr. Roberts, okay. Need a vote, please?
Commissioner Brooks,
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Galbraith,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Gibson,
Yes.
Mayor Plummer.
Yes.
Motion carries.
We have a motion, we have a motion that's been approved, so we'll move on. Appreciate it. Resolution C, resolution authorizing application to the Commonwealth of Kentucky for financial assistance for drinking water revolving fund. Mr. Bowman.
Yeah, so Chris Stewart is here with us today from HEB Engineers. And this is it's either step 3 or step 1C in the 12-step program that you all have been discussing throughout the year, and I guess a little over into last year as well. So, Chris, you kind of just want to give an update as to what
Yeah, so this goes back to late 2020 actually. When Darren was still with us, this process started as we were working through the water audit that we did for you all, finished up, well, I guess last year now. In late 2020, so every year the SRF program has what they call a call for projects, where we submit funding applications for various different projects. And so this project was submitted on your all's behalf. It came from the water audit that we did. It has a lot of different components, various different components in the water system, both at the treatment plant, in the storage tanks, and in the distribution system. The treatment plant part of it is upgrades, modernization, replacement of old equipment. It is not an expansion of capacity. As you all probably recall, the capacity question has many different tentacles that we have not sorted through yet. So this is kind of an interim step. Most of these things, assuming that we stay at the current water treatment plant site, even if we did an expansion, most of these things need to be done anyway. So this is not necessarily an either or type of situation. These are things that probably need to be done regardless due to the age of the facility, the age of the equipment, and just kind of an upgrade of the plant. I'm just kind of going from memory here, but I believe there's mixing systems in the 19th Street, well, maybe in all the tanks. 19th Street tank repainting, moving the main transmission lines from the treatment plant back to town, out from under the diesel tanks at the power plant, in case there's ever an issue there, so that those lines can be accessed without a major disruption at the power plant and major project of dealing with those diesel tanks. there's a line that goes through the cemetery, that we're gonna try to, take that out of service, so that no longer becomes an issue or a potential issue. Creek crossings, under Houston and Stoner that are currently not connected and have been disconnected for some time now. But putting those back together creates hydraulic loops in the system, which will make it easier to operate, and also help water quality by keeping water circulating throughout town better and easier. So it's about, there may be some various other minor things in there, but that's the gist of it. So we put in the application in late 2020. I think it was actually November, an official offer of funding came to the city. It's $3.275 million. That's what's being offered to the city. That is at a 1% interest rate for 20 years. On the, I don't remember the exact date, but early November, Mike accepted the offer, which still doesn't commit you all to taking the funding at that point, but he did accept the offer so that we could go to the next step, which is where we are now. Bluegrass Ad has prepared the application, and it's ready to go to KIA. The deadline for that, I believe, is January the 15th. And so what's on the agenda today is the commission has to adopt a resolution to authorize that application to go in, authorize the mayor to sign, and that sort of thing is what's in the resolution for your consideration today.
This is really approving the official loan application.
Right.
I guess the best way I describe, this may not be accurate, but I described it prior was we give them a list of projects, kind of a wish list. They tell us how much we're eligible in funding for, and we accept
Right.
their cap.
That's fair to say. Yeah.
So, yeah, the resolution you have before you, we would just need to get to the ad early today, Mayor.
Right. And it looks like, Brian, that
That's, I wrote it.
okay.
By the time I had to get the packet out, I didn't.
Okay.
That was before you and I talked.
Okay.
I've written a real one.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good. Yeah. All right.
If you want to take a quick peek at it.
Okay, all right.
But as Chris and I were talking last week and I talked to Brad, you know, there are still months to go before we even get to bidding.
Oh, yes.
This is probably not a 2022 project.
So kind of the next steps, if we decide to go forward today, kind of the next steps will be probably either late this month, or I guess probably the second meeting this month or the first meeting of February. HMB will prepare a contract for the engineering of this project, present that to you all. That's included in the funds that have been offered. That's an eligible expense. Basically, everything related to the project is included in that number. So there should be very little, if any, come out of city funds, so to speak. Now, obviously, this is a loan and it does have to be paid back. But it's the amount that was offered was intended to be all inclusive of the cost related to the project. So if we decide to go forward with this today, or if you all decide to go forward with this today, the application will go in probably late this week or early next to KIA. That is a formality. They're not going to deny it. I mean, they've already offered the money. This is just a process we have to go through. Part of that process, there's some financial information that goes with the application, city audits and things of that nature. KIA will look at and evaluate that and come back and tell you if they feel that a rate increase is necessary to service the debt. This project was provided to your rate consultant that did the rate analysis, and we weren't involved in that, so I don't know exactly where that stands. But this information was at least intended to go to them for them to take into account. So that's something that you all probably need to check on, make sure you feel comfortable with that, because it is a loan that does have to be paid back, but it's very attractive financing at 1% for 20 years is really, really good. So there will be some more paperwork. A grant assistance agreement will have to be signed. That locks you in. I think you could probably still get out of it even if we signed this resolution, but I will tell you that I don't typically see that happen once we go past this point. Normally, we're going forward with the project. But like I said, the grant assistance agreement is the final agreement, so I feel like you could still get out of it if you had to, or felt like you needed to. But that would be a little bit unusual, I will say that. And so if we decide to go forward today, HMB will present a contract in the next 30 days or so. And once you all are comfortable with that, we'll go forward with the design of the project and getting it ready for bidding. As Brian said, it may not bid in 2022. It's a fairly decent sized project, and that's going to take some time to work through that process, get all the permits, get all the approvals, all of that sort of thing. So, I would say if you're budgeting, I would say late 2022 would be about the earliest it could go to bid. 2023 is more likely, to give you an idea of the timeline. And you wouldn't start making payments until you start drawing money. So, there would be no interest accrued in the interim. But once you start drawing funds, then you start accruing interest on what is drawn as it is drawn. And then you have semi-annual payments after that. Once the project is completed, you'll have semi-annual payments. Don't quote me on this, but I think it's June 1st and December 1st, but something in that time frame.
So it's a drawdown, we may not actually use what they.
Correct. So if we did not use all of the money, then you would not, the loan amount would be
Correct.
lower.
Correct.
That's right. They're not sending you $3.3 million
Correct.
and telling you to go have fun with it.
And the flip side of that coin is
It's not
too,
like the water meters.
is if there's part of the phase, one phase they elect not to do, or it's just cheaper, you can't, let's say there's 150 left on the table, you can't use it for something else.
Correct.
Yeah, there are a few things that you could probably do, but it has to be related to the project. It has to be kind of within the scope of the work that we presented in the application and that they approved. So what they don't like to see is for us to say, okay, well, we said in the application that we're going to do X, Y, and Z at the water treatment plant. And then once we get there, it's like, no, we're not doing the water plant. We want to do something else.
Yeah.
That's a no-no, because there's a numerical ranking criteria where they judge this project to be worthy of funding based upon the components that we presented. And so if we take out one of those components that they assigned, just for example, 25 points to, well, then would that 25 points have knocked us out of the funding and put somebody else in? And so they really frown on that.
It's like grant funding. I write grants for Fayette County,
Yeah.
and it's the same way.
Right.
You have to execute what you wrote.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now could we do minor changes? Yeah, probably. But taking out major components would be frowned upon.
Are there reporting requirements for this?
There are. It's pretty manageable, and Bluegrass Ads would assist you all with that. Like I said, they've already kind of been engaged in
Right.
preparing the application, and they would assist you with any kind of monitoring. But it's pretty minor stuff. Not a major issue. I wouldn't be worried about it, I guess, put it that way.
Any other questions for Chris? You want to read the resolution again, or we are?
I'm just gonna read my title. Sorry. A resolution authorizing an application for funding under the federally assisted drinking water revolving fund, state revolving fund.
Okay. So we need a motion.
Make a motion.
Okay. Mine's what,
I'll second.
Thank
I'll
you.
second.
You gonna second, okay.
Yes, I'll second.
We have a second and a motion.
Move
So,
forward. Yes.
roll call, please.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner
Yes,
Galbraith,
ma'am.
Commissioner Gibson,
Yes.
Mayor Plummer,
Yes.
Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you all. I'm not leaving.
Yeah, anybody have anything you want to
Thank
bring
you.
up?
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're kind of restricted.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
Unless they want to bring up something about these conferences.
I do, I just want, is there some, who's gonna write an email to the city employees just to let them know what, okay, what we're gonna do? You're gonna do it, okay.
I'll give it one, Ron, yeah. Okay.
I just think an email to all of them to let them know the protocol would be good. Just so they,
Yeah, what, would you like to, after we get the order signed, you can just attach it? if they need
Yeah,
it?
that'd be fine.
yeah, that's
There you
fine.
go.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's like any and if you want, my cell phone, if you don't have it, call me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Aye.
Vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion, aye.
Motion carries.
Yeah.
I thought you done one, I say.